All right,
Here we
we are
go.
live.
This is great. We
Hey,
get to do this.
the
Yeah.
alarms just went off. Cancel all alarms.
oh, I don't even know where my phone is. It's around here somewhere. But that's
It's
always a
it's
good
just
idea.
waiting to cause trouble. Cancel all
So
alarms.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we get to hang out as always. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I was gonna go. I was like, hey, I like to just do things uh, live, think out loud, do those kind of things. And the thing that
Right.
brought me here today, the reason I called out to you is because I have this idea. I have this software that I made, this little CLI software that I made that I
Oh, is
use a
it Spring
lot, and I
Shell?
it's it's based on Spring Shell. It's using Spring
Okay.
Shell, and
Right.
it's way back when we had Spring Native, and
Right. Back in the
before
old
Spring
2.x
Framework.
days.
Yep, yeah, years ago. I used the Spring Shell and Spring Native to give me
Yeah.
a nice CLI. It was the first real thing that made value in. I love that I can get rid of all of my bash and I can start to
Yes.
use Spring in all the places where I had all this other bash and duct tape. So I started making this thing, and I was trying to demo and show people cool stuff. And in order to kind of learn what I was doing, I put a bunch of this stuff into this little shell so I could
Right.
show different demos and I could switch. It was great. And I called it Initializer Plus Plus because it was the stuff that I would add on to a project after I went to start.spring.io. So it
Right.
started years ago. I put it out there. It's a native shell that you can run. And I was building it
Yeah.
for the Mac and for Linux and Windows, and it was great. But Spring CLI came along, right? Spring CLI
Right.
and Mark Pollock, he was like, yeah, I like that. And he saw what it was doing, and he added this function, this feature called commands, user defined commands. So I'm a big fan of the Spring CLI already. And now I
Me
have
too.
these user defined commands. And I also have this other thing over here, this initializer plus plus that people are using. And, I had these bugs and these issues that people were sharing. They're like, hey, what about this? The build broke. And I don't want to maintain it. To be honest, I just
No,
don't want to
nobody
maintain
does.
it anymore. It was a DIY thing, but now I've got a
Mm-hmm.
better option, and I want to make the functions, the things that I had in my little one off, I just want to have those in the Spring CLI. So it's less for me to maintain.
Nice.
And really, I'm just putting out code. So this is where I was at. It's like, I understand that as a developer, you built something and you're doing it, and hey, yeah, it's great. And I wrote it, and you can be really
Right.
proud of it. But the point is, it's okay to be proud and love the code that you wrote and that got you here. But
Yeah.
you have to reevaluate every once in a while. And that when
I
there's a
sure hope
better
so.
option, you should take it. You should take it
Yeah.
for yourself, for your friends, for your community. You should be comfortable moving to that better option. It's like I love Spring Boot 2.7. But when 3.0
Oh,
came
right.
along, I really felt like I needed to move to 3.0 because it was better. It was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So this is where
Yeah.
we're at. This is the only reason I want to come on here is because I have this project. I was going to go dig into the Spring CLI, and I was just going to go look at these options because this is the right thing to do. I love the software
Oh,
and it's great, and there's a community around it. But here's the other thing, and it's also like the build pack, right?
yeah.
I'm still getting issues on the build pack that I was maintaining, but there's a time where I need to start to transition this tiny little
Oh,
community
not
over to
onward.
a better option.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite perennial bits of advice is I'm paraphrasing here is always don't be afraid to kill your darlings, right? Like that's Faulkner, and he's talking about like it's okay to throw away the script or the work that you did that you liked and strive for something bigger and better, And in fact, it's healthy.
Especially when
Uh,
you're getting help,
yeah.
right?
Well,
You can maintain your DIY and it's great. But
yeah.
when there's an option to something better, and I
You
think that's
take
a
it
hard thing to do. I know it was
to
hard for me
realize
early in
too.
my career, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I think it was a hard thing. And now I'm here and I'm trying to practice. I'm trying to advocate for our developers and I'm trying to say like, hey, here's the right thing to do. My phone
It's
is ringing.
well, what's interesting about that is it's actually harder to do that. It's not so what you just said on paper in the abstract oh, okay, I'm going to use something that's being maintained by more people and I get more help. That should therefore be the logical, obvious sort of next step. And yet, it's actually hard because there is a cost to migrating. There is a cost to
Yes.
embracing a new thing that was, because there's friction. It's an uphill climb no matter what it is. If it's not what you're already doing, if it's not the thing that's already in motion, then there's friction you have to overcome. There's a countervailing forces. So yeah, it's brave and it's courageous and it takes extra energy to do that. So good for you, sir. Good for you.
But isn't there also extra energy in maintaining the DIY? Customer
Well,
user asks for a feature. So then I've got now, I've
adding
got
to the
different,
existing code to do it would be more energy. But if you've just got something that's kind of working,
yeah.
then But I'm all about, because I think in the long run you're right, of course, because eventually that's going to have CVEs at the wazoo. You're going to be stuck on old code. It's just that becomes a burden in of itself.
Yeah.
So
And that's where I'm at. Is like, I don't want to deal with that. So this is where I jumped in. I'll show you kind of what I was looking at. What
yeah,
brought me here is
I
this just user defined commands. Have you taken a look at this?
yeah. Yes, Spring CLI, user defined commands. Yeah,
This is it.
yes.
It's pretty straightforward, but yeah, I like this idea better versus what I was doing was, hey, I was putting my commands, and even I add a command and then I gotta update all the docs and do all the other things that go into like releasing something.
Right.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna take some of these features that I had and I'm just gonna make them user defined commands.
That's
So I was just
amazing.
going through these steps.
I'm happy to, audience. I'm going to be it's planned, but I have to leave in around 14 minutes. So I'm happy to hang out
Yeah,
and hack with you for a bit. And then I'm just
that
pulled
works.
in another direction. It's a different direction, but, hopefully it'll be as fun.
It'll be good. It's good
Yeah.
times. I have a
Oh,
phone ringing in my ear and I don't understand how to turn it off.
are you using I'm sure Android has this, right? They have like an iPhone, they have this handy, just send it to voicemail, but you can see the voicemail transcript
Yeah,
live.
I have the thing, the Apple Watch, but I don't see the button of send it to voicemail, and I have no
Oh,
idea
I'm not
where.
sure if it's a watch thing or if it's a phone thing or whatever. I don't know. Nobody tells me anything.
Yeah, so I'm gonna close up a bunch of windows.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully that'll fix things. Uh, we'll see. I'm gonna try
Do
to
you run
close.
Windows anywhere? Do you have a place where if people wanted to, they could run something with a .exe suffix in
I
your
do,
home?
I do,
Ooh.
because of projects like this, because of the ARM64 stuff and this initializer plus plus and trying to show build packs, just the value. I I bought the M1 first
Yeah, yeah,
because of
yeah.
the build pack, and then as people were starting to like catch on, I bought a Windows machine, and I
Okay.
bought it because I wanted to have a GPU. I wanted to have one of the fancy GPUs available, uh, so I could do fun GPU things.
Yeah,
So I
makes
do
sense.
have a Windows machine behind me. That's the one that we play on, right? They're
Yep.
good for games as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And on that machine, I
I
am
would go so far
doing.
as to argue that's the only thing they're good for at this point. It's the only unequivocal. There's no question they are better. Column, right? They're not better at word processing necessarily. They're not better at like database or development or you know Photoshop. I mean, there's better platforms to do all that stuff, but they are the absolute king of the hill or queen of the hill when it comes to I want to run a video game, and it's their game to lose. Actually, Apple has just been terrible, just terrible at video games. Yeah, shame on Apple, shame on them. Get your butt in gear. It's not like you don't have the people or the willingness here. If they wanted to like do games, they could do it, but it doesn't happen.
Yeah. So I have one, and it's there, and it
Cool.
does its thing. And I'll say hello to everybody that's jumping in. I appreciate it.
Oh
I
yeah,
say
hi
like,
everybody.
let us know where you're joining from, Simon. Even though you're here all the time, yeah, let everybody else know
Yeah,
where you're joining
Simon
from.
from Simon from the
Uh,
internet.
is Spring Starter Is Spring Web Starter sanitize the user input by default? If no, why is it
That's
not
an
by
interesting
default?
take. I mean, are they asking about like request parameters or path variables or form
I
inputs?
That's what I would guess. You know, when I think sanitize user input, that's what I would guess. But that
Yeah,
seems
I don't know how to. It
uh,
would be overbearing, I think. Wait, put it another way.
because
Does something else do that? Like, I would love to know about that. Is there some framework that locks that stuff down by default?
yeah, we in order to do that, we have a validation that we can add
Yeah, the
to do those things.
validation.
But I'm not always validating user input when I use
No,
the web starter.
or
So it
even
seemed
the
like
like
that's
even the Spring Shell. If you get inputs on there, you should. You could argue there's probably a need to validate all that stuff.
yeah.
I take parameters into a command. Yeah.
Oh, look at this. Simon's like, yeah, hey, we have some of it. We have some protections in there.
Yeah, that's true. XS. Yep, good call right there. And we do have like a CSRF
Yep.
validation. Like you can't just um,
Yeah.
spam an endpoint without being
Yeah.
checked on your actions.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So yeah, this is where I'm at. This is where my head's at. And I just want to hang out, to be honest.
Yeah,
I want
the
to hang
best
out.
time.
So
Is
hey, I
is
have
the weather
this.
amazing where you are right now? Like,
We've actually been getting a lot of thunderstorms and tornadoes, actually, not too far from here.
well,
So it's
Wizard of
been a
Oz.
little rainy and muggy lately. We had
That's
some good rain. I have a yard, and
yeah.
we had some bad patches of grass. So we put down sod a couple of weeks ago. So we're happy about all this rain, right?
Yeah.
You can barely see where we put down new sod because all of the rain has been really doing a great job.
Okay.
So we're in a good spot. So I'm reading this doc, and I just wanted to like walk through these steps and see what it's like because
Yeah.
I have not done this yet. Like I said, I've been kind of invested in my own CLI, and now it's time. Now
Time
it's
to
time to kind of make some changes.
hear the
And I'll tell
goodness.
you what it's doing or why. I have Raspberry Pis here,
Yeah.
and yesterday somebody from the community, I was like, hey, look, I think it'd be really valuable if you could go from not just having it on your laptop, but to having something that's running because they do development on a mobile phone. And I wanted to
Right.
give them a back end service. They are aware of Spring Boot and they want it. I want to show them how easy it was. So I said, here's what we're going to do. You're going to create a repository on GitHub. You're going to make it public. And what you're going to do is you're going to start with a gateway. You make that gateway, and then I'm going to put it on a path to production on my Raspberry Pis. So
Yeah.
what I would normally do is I would normally use this, right? This has all
Right.
the things that I need, like using my multi-architecture builder, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I do. But I didn't want to put this in their hands. I want them to use the Spring CLI. So this is really the driver here. It's like,
It's a
hey, this is
migrating
cool. This
goodness.
has all the things that you need to ride on my ride, but I would rather do it this way. I think this will be
Yeah.
easier to maintain. When I make updates, they're not having to reinstall anything. They're not having to go grab my new release. They can just have it in the repository.
I love it. I love it more than anything. And now they've got, and also that Spring CLI gives them a lot of other doors that your separate but amazing solution.
Right?
It's a 5-trick pony. It does those tricks very well, but it's sort of a,
So I lean into this a lot.
yeah.
Right. So this is mine. This is some reference implementations on what you would take to production.
Mhm.
It has those things built in. This is our friend Craig's. These
Yeah.
are all of his AI examples. He's got a whole repository of a bunch of AI examples that we can just go and grab. This is the thing that I use the most with the Spring CLI. And then here's what you get by default. So that Spring, like these are just all on the menu for me.
Yeah. And you can add to
different
the menu.
computers
This is the
have
only
different-
restaurant where you can add to the menu
Absolutely. And like, did you ever use Maven archetypes?
all the time. And I was happily memory holding them until you just reminded me right now. Thanks a lot. Thanks for nothing.
When I show this concept, a lot of people just like, oh yeah, I have it with archetypes.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Not the
They're,
same.
they're not the same at all,
No.
right? This Spring CLI, right, with the project catalog, with the list. The other piece that it does, it allows me to add on.
Right.
So if I've got an example project, I got a demo, I went to start.spring.io and I built something, and then I want to add like a config client to it.
Mhm.
I've got code that shows, hey, here's an example of how you add. I get a reference implementation of how to do that, and I can add it to an existing project. What I would do in the past is I'd go to like one of the getting started guides, like this one, and I'd look at it and then I'd copy and paste. And this just brings it into my project and it does all the things I need to do.
Without disturbing the rest of it. It doesn't just it's additive, not
Additive,
destructive.
which is
Yeah.
slick.
Yeah, super good.
So I'm
It's
a fan. I use it a lot.
This is like the day 1.5, right? Day one is you incept your project. Day two is you get it deployed to cloud platform of choice, insert cloud platform of choice. Day 1.5 is I need to add things to the code I incepted
Yes.
with my archetype or startup Spring CLI or the Spring CLI or whatever, your IDE wizard.
Yeah, the other thing is like this concept of, hey, I wanna deploy my Spring Boot code onto your home lab or your platform, right? Platform of choice.
Right.
How do you deliver all of those steps? And this is what I'm leaning into. I want to just have a CLI in the hands of the developer that matches what's happening on the path to production.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So this is where I'm at, and this is what I want to do. So I was just going to go through this and play a little bit. So I'm going to just do this like example.
What's the first one you're going to start with? Which command?
I'm going to run through this example.
Oh, like hello world?
Yep. So this is in the docs. This is great. Anybody can do it. But this is how I learn is by getting more reps in. So instead of trying to just figure it out with a new one, I'm going to create an example.
And it's a good idea. That's why they have them there, is to act as a guide.
All right. So
I'm going to sit here and watch.
I don't see anything. So it said created, but I don't see anything.
Tree.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
Shouldn't that have shown? But there it is. There's all this stuff. So this is what I got. So everything goes into a .spring, and the thing that I'm wondering is, in the examples, he added a command. Actually, I'll go back, and it was just one command per repo.
Right. And
I'm wondering, can I have more than one command in the repo when I add? Right, when I say, hey, here's the repository, I want you to add these commands. Do I have to have them in different commands? So that's where I'm going to go to try. It's like, hey, so I did a hello create. What if I do a hello list or a hello? This is remove. All right, so it looks like it works. So I can have more than one command in my catalog. So I can then, again, I can hopefully turn this set of commands. I can end up with all of this and just have one command. Hey, go, you have the Spring CLI. All you're going to have to do is add a command, add my repo, which is up here.
Oh yeah. It's the name of the game right there.
Right there. So just point to the repo. This is the goal. Spring command add from this repository. That's what we're trying to get to. All right, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, totally. I'm with you.
All right. Let's dig in. I think it's slick. I think we're onto something, because there's another piece here where he adds actions, and I haven't even gotten that far. I had talks with him about that months ago, but this idea where I can put these actions, these doable things inside of my CLI, like a CF push or whatever I can say, Spring CF push, right? I know that we were doing that for others. There's a lot of really cool hooks that are in place, and there's not really a centralized catalog of all the things yet, but I know that these different catalogs are being created all over the place, and this is exciting. So
it is exciting.
What Simon says, they seemingly did lose the catalog app references.
Oh.
He says, I was looking at the TUI documentation, or rather trying to.
All right, my friend. Good luck on your journey to prod. I'm going to bounce for
the
moment.
Josh. Wonderful. Thanks for hanging out. That was a good chat. I'm going to dig dig through this and
Yeah.
have fun.
You're gonna get through this, and you'll come out on the other end of the cave with gold. And I wish I could be there to like catch
That's the
you,
goal.
but I'm sorry.
I got a whole group of folks
Bye,
here
everybody.
to help me get through it. Take care.
Bye. Cheers.
Let's see. Let's keep on going. So I'm not here. I'm looking through this, creating a new user-defined command. We're in good shape. And we did this. We added 2. So that's cool. So the following listing shows the contents of the command. Let's go look at the command YAML. Creates a new file with a hello message, cool, greeting, who or what to say hello to, string, world. Okay, cool. Well, that makes sense. That's a simple example. Okay. Do I need to... That same concept of, hey, not just like the outline and the dependencies, I'm getting an example, a working example that I can go forward with. Sorry, I got beeps in my ears here. Just checking on my team. I think we're in good shape. Okay. So can I, we ran it, it's here. I want to see that command. So do I have to commit it in order to add it to that repo? Let's just do that. That won't be hard. Did I make it? I don't think I made my repository yet, so please hold. And I think I'm going to put it in the same. I'm going to put it in my other project. That goes along with, the other reference implementations. I'm going to put it into this Deshaun project catalog, and I'm going to add commands. So I'm going to go and create that. Actually, I can do this. I can show you what I'm doing. I'm just creating a new user-defined commands. I'm going to make it public. I'm not going to add anything to it. I'm just going to create it, and then I'm going to get these commands like, hey, here's what we need to do. So let's go get status, get init, get add. So there's all my stuff. Whoops, I don't want. Yep. Oh, hello. We don't want to put that in there. Wait, what did I do? Let's do this. There we go. We're in good shape. And let's just go. First pass. And now I want to do this. Let's set it up. Hello. So that should be here. Pushed it up. All right, so now I've got my commands. Fantastic. And now, according to the docs, here's what I expect to be able to do. This. So I want to go here. I want to say Spring command. Whoops. Spring command. And then the repository should point to the actual repo. So my repository should point to this one. We're in good shape. That looks right. Hello, hello. Welcome in. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Oh, now look at command hello added. This is good. But it only added, let's see what we get. Because I added 2 commands. I added the create and the remove. So let's see what we get. This idea. But for those of you that are just joining, I have this initializer plus. Some of you may have used it or have seen me use it, and I don't want to support this anymore. I think I found a better way by using these user-defined commands through the Spring CLI. So I'm just exploring. I'm learning, just like you. Yeah, I don't know everything, so I'm learning. And one way that I learn is by doing it in public. I like having somebody else on the other side. Simon has done this with me many, many times. I love learning with Simon, and I hope I get to learn with you someday too. So I've done this, I've added it, and I should be able to do the commands. There's the new, I want to see, where's the command list? It was here, right? Let's see, no, that's not what I want. Where's the thing that shows me just the commands that I added? Describing, I added. There they are. They're there. Describing the command. That works. Where is the step? Oh, maybe it's just Spring Help. And I should see those user-defined commands. User-defined commands. Here they are. So I got them both. I got my hello create and my hello remove. This is good. I feel like we're in a good shape. Yeah. Says, looks like Josh got kidnapped by Dan. Well, Josh, had other stuff. Here's the cool thing is, Josh and I, we both do stuff. Josh is Josh, and he's traveling a lot. And I like to live stream a lot. So we just decided to combine forces. We work well together. I think that we are a good combination. If I was to build a team, I would love to have a me and a Josh on a team because I think we work really well together. So we're going to be doing more stuff here. If you haven't hit the button, if you haven't subscribed, I want you to subscribe to the Coffee Software channel because it's worth it. And it's only going to get better because of people like you. Hello. Welcome in. This isn't going to be long. If you haven't tried the Spring CLI, this is worth looking at. I like having a CLI in my hands. I believe in having a CLI in the hands of the developers that you're working with. It can provide guardrails and cheat codes, and it should help get to production. You can overdo it. The CLIs that you provide, the things that you're putting into the hands of the developers, I think that they should match what's happening in your CI/CD, guardrails, security stuff as well. So I love this idea where I can put something into the hands of the developer, and it can also be used in my path to production. For example, on my Raspberry Pis. So this is what I'm doing. I'm going to go through this exercise of trying to take this other Spring Shell project that I have. You can go take it for a spin. I want to just move those things into this project. I want to make it so that you can just add it and it'll be easier for me to maintain because I don't have to do releases, etc. I'm trying to make it easier for myself, but I had fun building this and it worked for years, but now's the time. I've been around, now's the time. Hey, Ted, I'm glad you're here. Ted, you're aware, right? I have this, Ted's actually made a contribution. Look at this. Yeah, we've had this tool and I've invested in it and it was great, but it's time to let it go because the amount of work it takes to maintain, and when people are adding issues, I think it's better. I think it will be better for me to adopt these user-defined commands. It's still built on Spring Shell. I still get all the native CLI experience, and I'm just going to upgrade. I think it's going to be an upgrade. So I would love to get your feedback, but this is what I'm trying to do. I am trying to put the functionality that I had here. I want to put it into user-defined commands, and so far so good. I'm a big fan of, I'm a big fan of the CLI. And I'm a big fan of just like staying and being on the latest and greatest. I want to have all the value that's available to me. That's why I'm not using Java 8 anymore. I'm using Java 21 or Java 22. It depends. So now I'm just playing. So I created these user-defined commands. I've got everything in one repository. So there, I did my hello. So that makes sense. Oh, we should probably run it and see if it works. I didn't have to do anything. Let's go over to another window. And I added these commands so I can do Spring help. And even in here, I'm going to have this list of commands that's available to me. Oh, I expected them to be there. So that is interesting. So that looks like it was per session. So when I do, but yeah, I kind of expected it to be like, oh, you know what? I'll bet you that it added them into my repository. Here, let's go over here. I think I understand now. Hit status, or no, let's go make a new directory. Fun. User-defined commands. So the command that I ran was, hey, let's do the user commands add here. I'm going to run this command, and I'm wondering, is this going to pull down those details into a .spring? I think that might be what it does. So now I have a .spring, and this is where those commands get put. Okay, that makes sense. This is interesting. So now when I do Spring help, now I have my user-defined commands, and now I can do Spring would be a command hello create. I want to execute it. Spring help, no. I want to execute that. Spring command new, or did I say Spring hello create? Not Spring command. Spring hello create. And I expect to have a text file. It says you need to be in the root project directory to run roll commands. Okay, so we're running into some stuff. Wait, commands.choose. Did I make commands? I'm learning, just like you. Sometimes it is time to move on, and it's more fun when you can stay up to date, get all the goodies. I'm a big fan of being on N-0. I want all the goodies. I don't want to wait. I'm actually now at this point where it's a safe place. Like, I'm not judgy, but like if you're having to use Java 8, I hurt inside a little bit because I know how important and how much value and for your career. I don't want you to be stuck on Java 8 when the rest of the world and everybody else that you're going to be competing with for a job, they're using Java 21 and they're learning all the new features and they're able to use Spring Boot 3. I get it. So if you're looking for a job, this is one of the things I've been saying a lot. If you're looking for a job and you start to get offers, one of the things I want you to ask, even in the interview, before you get an offer, in the interview, when they say, hey, do you have any questions? Yes, you have 2 questions. First question is, what Java version are you running in production? And if there's more than one, I want to know, like, what's that range? what Java version are you running in production? Because if they say we're using 4, 5, and 6, run. That's your time. Hey, the interview's over, just leave. If they say, 8 and 11, that's better than 4, 5, and 6, right? But if they say Java 21, then you're like, this is where I want to be. But then there's a second question that you have to ask. You have to say, what version of Spring Boot are you taking to production, right? Right. The first one, affects the second one, but you have to say that. These are questions. These are questions that you should be asking, especially if you're watching this. These are questions that you should be asking the next time you find yourself interviewing for a job. What version of Java do you take to production? What version of Spring Boot are you taking to production? Ask those questions. Look at this. See, when you're on the latest and greatest, you can do these things. You can start to look ahead at what's coming, and you can start to prepare for those changes before they are even released. There's always plenty of time. Like, we know that Ubuntu is going to come out in April and in October every year. There's going to be a new release in April and October. We know that Java is going to come out with 2 releases every year in September and February, right? Or is it March? March. And yeah, every 6 months. Like, this is the way that's going forward. And I will be surprised. It could get shorter before it gets longer, right? I don't think that Java or Ubuntu will say, oh yeah, we're going to go back to a 1 release every year. I don't think that'll happen. I think more likely, I think 6 months is kind of a good number, but I think it's more likely that they'll go to a release every quarter than they'll switch to a release every year. And the Spring Boot team is the same way. Like, you got to keep up. There's too much going on. And the difference and the amount of value that we can be delivering, if you don't take advantage of it, yeah, you're going to fall behind. I love this. I love when everything is green. Anish, recently migrated Java 21 and Spring Boot 3.2.3. You are doing great. You are doing great. Anish, what I would love to hear is how much, oh, look at this, 29 services. Oh, that is awesome. I hope it was easy. I hope that you learned a lot of stuff. And if you had difficulty, I would love to hear what you ran into and how you got over it. If you've got a blog, throw it in the chat, because I want to know. I have fun hearing about these stories, and I also want to know, like, what version did you come from? Right? Were you on 3.1? Were you on 3.0? Were you on 2? Did you measure how much better things were? Aside from security, did you measure performance? Did you measure any of those kind of things, like infrastructure, memory usage, latency, all those kind of things? Because yeah, there's a lot of stuff from 17 to 21. Fantastic, right? And there's performance boost going from 17 to 21. Are you using virtual threads? Because that's a thing. There's power there. Ted says, when you test milestones and RSEs, you can provide feedback for the stuff that's not right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So for those of you that don't know, here, Spring CLI, it's still early. There's a release. It's not GA yet. There's a release here. So yeah, I'm still learning. I'm taking it for a spin. I enjoy doing this, and you should too. There's always something to learn. We're going to be continuously learning. So here's what we're doing. Now, I don't know why when I did this hello create, I don't know why I had this error. And it says, here's the thing, it says commands.juice. So juice is one of my project catalogs. I feel like I might have ran into a bug already. I feel like I might have ran. It says you need to be in the root project directory. Oh, I'll bet you it's looking for some project. So let's just do this. It might be looking for a Maven file or something. Let's go to start.spring.io and let's just do something simple. I'm going to use Maven, and of course, I'm going to use 21. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to use 21 because I like build packs. And I'm just going to do web, and I'm going to add actuator because that gives me enough. And because I deployed a Raspberry Pis, I'm going to do this. So that'll give me what I need to make it to a Raspberry Pi. and I'm going to call it commands. So I'm going to generate it. I got a project. It's commands. And then I'm going to bring it in here. So here, and I can just do it in there, right? This works just as fine. And I'm going to do my Spring Boot the added command. So I'm bringing in this project catalog, these user-defined commands. Oh, you know what? I wonder if it's because that this URL is a part of that juice catalog. Let me do, let's do this and just see what it does. Let's do this and see what it does. We're working through it. All right, so it's added, so that's good. All right, everything's there. And now I should be able to do hello create. All right, it works. So I needed to have a Spring project there. And yeah, that's interesting, but that's okay. That's okay. Look at this. I'm not a developer, but man, sometimes you make me wish I was. Like, this is, Nikki, I kind of like straddle that line. I'm a developer, like that. I'm a developer first, but I have all these Raspberry Pis. I have all of this infrastructure. I need to provide some guardrails. If you want to ride the ride on these Raspberry Pis, I want to give you a tool. I want to give you a tool that says, here's the supported way to do things. And yeah, make it easy. I want to make the right thing to do to get to production. I want to make it easy. So this is what I'm doing, is I'm in this, on this journey where I had a tool. I had a tool here that you see me use, this initializer plus, because I always go to start the Spring initializer. I always go and build something here. And then I had this tool that would add things to that project. It would upgrade it. It would modify what you got from here. It would modify it, given a few steps, so that it could ride on my path to production. Raspberry Pis. So this is what I'm doing. I want to not maintain this project. I don't want to maintain this anymore. I want to make it easier to adopt for more people and easier for me to maintain the features and the changes versus I'm not a fan of GitHub Actions, to be honest. I'm not a fan of GitHub Actions. Look at all this. Months. I haven't had a good release in months. And people are opening issues, right? They're like, hey, like, let's fix this stuff. So when you put something out there, you know, good, hey, people are using it, but whoa, people are actually using it. I want to make it easy. I want to make it easy on me. And I want to give the people that are using these tools, I want to make it easy for them. I want to give them the better benefits. So that's why we're here. So I've done it. This works. This is great. So now we've done an example. We see how it works. We can describe what we're doing. Now let's go one step further and let's do one of the features, one of the things that I put into my thing. So let's go over here. And I think given the one that we just saw, which was, hey, it creates a file on the current path. I had one of those. I had one of those things here where it was the extensions here. I was adding Maven extensions in config to a project. So, and all that does, I think all that command does is add the Maven extensions. So I have a CLI, I can test it and I can verify it. But now, Ted, this is where it gets tricky. Ted says, I read the docs on roles and I still don't understand what they are. Are they like profile variables? I don't know. I don't know yet. And so here, let's talk about this Spring CLI. Spring CLI is built on top of Spring Shell. Spring Shell is a wonderful tool, Spring Shell. I lean into it quite a bit because I don't like Bash anymore. I like being able to deliver things with Spring and yeah, the framework that I love, and I'm comfortable. If I'm doing Spring all day and I decide I need a CLI, I don't want to have to revert to Bash and then remind myself how to do it with Bash. I have Spring Shell. So with Spring Shell, I don't think the roles part is a part of Spring Shell. Let's go over here and look at the docs. And thank you, So yeah, the roles part is not a part of the Spring shell. So the roles part is purely a part of this. Let's go take a look. Role. So here's the roles, guide to roles. Roles are ways to organize and reuse variables across user-defined command. Okay. Okay. So I know, again, one of my things that I find hard here is I got to talk with Dr. Mark Pollock when he was building this and implementing this several months ago. I had already had this in place. So yeah, we got to talk about like, hey, what are some things that you expect? What are things that you want in your CLI? And I'll tell you, there are some defaults. And of course, right, the Spring team like gives you a lot of those things out of the back. I have I get all of my commands. I get them out of the box. I get a nice little help that I didn't have to do anything in order to get this. That's a part of the Spring Shell project. You get these things baked in, but it also has a interactive shell, right? So this I can run all my commands. I can put them in my CI/CD, but I also have an interactive shell where I have all of the other things like tab completion, right? I get hello and I get the tab auto completion. That's cool. And I can have that externally as well, right? There's a way, if I quit, there's a way to bring in the Spring Shell autocomplete. I don't think I did. Oh, I didn't. But I can show you that. Spring CLI, actually it's probably here. Getting started. There is a way to say like, hey, all these commands, I want the auto completion as well. Auto. Completion command lets you do this. Currently only available for bash, works with bash subcommand. But what do I do? What do I run for that? I don't remember how to do that. It's something that you do, just like your SDK, man. Add it to your bash profile, and then you get the auto completion. I won't go down that path because I'll get confused, and I can't talk and type at the same time. So yeah, it's not just you. So these roles is something that's a part of the Spring CLI, not a part of Spring Shell. And Mark's got a lot more things in his head that he's trying to organize too. So roles provides a way to organize and reuse variables across user-defined commands. Yeah. So let's dig in. We're going to use this. We're going to play with it a little bit more, and we're going to keep a note of this, that, hey, this roles concept. It'd be nice to get there and have a use case. I don't think I have. Wait, I'm going to bring this up again. Reuse variables across user-defined commands. I think I understand now. Right, okay. For each role, a corresponding file is created. For example, there is a QA prod role. Boop, this makes sense. Vars QA, vars prod. I think I understand what's happening. Yeah, it's right. It's variables. Yeah, that makes sense. So I can define things. I can define these roles locally. But how do I choose them? Oh, here we go. Okay, we're going to come back to this. This makes sense. But I can set a role. It is kind of like a profile. Did you say that already? Yeah. Yes. I think that's, in my head, that's the bucket that I put it in. It's like a Spring profile. So let's agree on that. I like that. That makes sense. That's not that big of a leap. Fantastic. Here, the examples make it seem like it's variables for things that are often profiles elsewhere in Spring. I think I agree. I'm going to dig in a little bit more, right? Because I trusted they're smart and there's a reason behind it. But in my head, and maybe it's because you planned it there, but here's where I'm at. I like this idea. Let's keep going. So I'm going to jump back to my user defined. Oh, where was I? I want my user defined commands. We're looking, and what I want to do is I want to just take this one, this extensions, and I think I want to implement this extension. And absolutely just a reminder to everybody, naming is hard, period. So this is great. We are building. I want to put this into the hands of users. So let's go take this example, and I'm going to call it extensions. Is there a default? So I'm going to do extensions add, and then extensions remove. So in here, in my same catalog, I think I can do this. Oh, it was Spring command add. Was it add? Spring command new extensions to kind of keep the same word, right? Extensions add. So it did it. I'm curious. What did it do? So here I had an example, right? That was an example. Oh, so it gave me like a working example, just like the App Accelerator example, just like the Spring CLI project ad. It says, here's a working example of a command. So, and now I can just go, I have working code that I can go and replace. This is great. I'm a fan already. So here, when I add this command, watch, I already have this. I want to do the exact same thing. Add Maven extensions and config. This convention makes sense to me. And I'm curious if I do Spring help here, because I'm in this folder, I think that this command is automatically going to show up. And it does. I get it now. Okay, now I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. This makes sense. What I was thinking was that I was going to add commands, and those commands would be a part of they become part of the shell. But the commands are part of the project that you're in. So when I add commands or when I update commands, I guess that'd be the next thing, they become part of the code that goes with it. And now my question is, do I want those to be committed into the repo? Yeah, because I want everybody else that goes into that project to have those things. I think I do want that. So this is interesting. I'm exploring, seeing how this would work. I like it. So it's slightly different than what I had with the Spring initializer. But I still kind of get the same benefits because I'm still using the Spring CLI. I still have that shell where I can go and I can switch, right? When I have different projects that have different needs. Maybe once they go from the Raspberry Pis, they go up to the cloud, maybe the set of commands looks a little bit different. But I can still provide it in the same way. I think I'm getting this. And I shouldn't be surprised. This is the benefit. I've been saying this a lot, is when we use Spring and we use Spring Boot and we use Spring Shell, when we use these tools, it's like pairing with the Spring team, right? So in my head, I feel like, hey, yeah, I've got Dr. Pollock right next to me. So this is great. It works. So now what I want to do in this command is I want to create what I did over here. Actually, I can show you. It doesn't have the POM file. So there's going to be some validation. Let me show over here on our project. I'm going to do this, get init. And then I'm going to do get add. Actually, I want to remove the hello. So I've got a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to commit it. First pass. So the reason I'm doing this is because I want to see what happens when I do initializer++ extensions. It modified Okay, so all it did was add these two files. Fantastic. That's easy, right? I should be able to do that exact same thing easily over here in this other project. So I can cat mvn extensions. That looks good. I should be able to add this much. Let's go over here. So add command. It says, hey, this is what we're doing. The options, there's no options. There's no options. So I'm going to just remove that. I think this options matches the shell options. So I'm going to do this. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and open up this other project. Because I can look at the code and things are probably going to match. Sean, initialize, whoops. Initializer plus plus. I think the latest and greatest version. Let's open that up. On the extensions, I don't think I had any options. I did not. Fantastic. Add maybe that makes sense. So here, we're back. We're going to take away the options. That seems right, right? That'd be your guess, is that you don't have to have options. And then the YAML says generate. So this is putting it in to, so now I need to, can I generate a directory? Let's go look at what those actions are. I'm guessing, I'm learning. We're all doing this together. User-defined commands, overview of action files. Generate creates a new file. Exec runs another program. Can I create a directory? Code actions generate the type of action to take. For example, generates files. Where in the file system to, where in the file system to generate the file? Okay, let's see. Dot mvn. Sorry, I'm going to look. It's in .mvn directory. That's where I want it. Slash extensions.xml. Let's see. Let's see if that works. Spring help. I should see it in my user-defined commands. I do. And I should be able to do this. I should be able to say Spring extensions add. Oh, because I didn't have this project here, right? I don't have a Spring project. So that's why I did this one. Here, let's go add, yeah, I gotta commit it. I don't wanna do that. Here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna move this over. I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna say CP fun Sean project catalog. Is that where I put it? No, Sean command catalog. I want to move all that stuff. Dot spring dot slash. Hopefully I have the extensions good. So now I can say spring extensions add. Oh, this is sweet. There it is. So that worked. This feels good. Todd, how are you? Todd, we're going to be hanging out pretty soon. This is fantastic. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad you're here. I'm not logged into my, I should be. I'm going to go over here and log into my Twitch because my Twitch family is here. My Twitch squad. Sorry, gotta mute. There it is. So I want to do, how do I do it? I want to do shout outs for Jid or Ted because I'm a fan. And then I know I can't do it right away. I'm going to do a shout out for Todd. Maybe in just a sec. Yeah, buddy, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be awesome. Things are good. So I'm playing with Spring CLI. I'm trying to convert my Initializer++ project. I'm trying to convert it to user-defined commands. I think it's going to make it easier for me. I think it's going to make it easier for my friends to adopt and use. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just going through that exercise. So we just verified that this works, and I can create folders. So now I've got to figure out this text. So this is YAML. So with YAML, I think I can go like this, and then I can put my text there, right? So let's go grab that text. This is the text. Let's see if that works. Copy. And especially for this, right? For this project, I had a lot of this like that's all I was doing. I wasn't like doing anything fancy. I just had, hey, copy this text, put it in that file. So this makes sense. Where did this come from? So let's do this. Let's see if this works. I gotta fix my formatting a little bit, I think. Is that all I need to do for the YAML? I don't need the triple ticks, right? I'm trying to think if I have an example anywhere. Do I have to quote this? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make it easy. I'm just trying to get through. I'll fix it later, right? Perfect. Sometimes the enemy of good. So let me do my shout out to Todd Libby. This is good. But tell me a better way, Ted. Tell me a better way. I want to make this easy. I want to make it easy to adopt. And this is easy for me to distribute. But I'm open. I'm open. I'm not gonna invest. But I feel like this needs to be a string. Am I right? I know where to go. I think I have an example. I think I have an example where I did something like this before. There we go. I don't know a better way. I'm just sad that YAML is used for config. Yeah, this is where we are. Did I do it here? I did it there. I didn't have to put quotes. We'll see. We'll see. So let's give it a try. Like that's the whole thing. Is I got a nice little. I got a feedback loop here. Oh, but I gotta do that again. I should just be doing it here. So let's tree that spring and let's cat that spring commands extensions add. I think it's here. All right, that looks like it's good, but I want to rename that, right? Let's go over here. Let's get into the IDE. We can just do stuff here and we can copy everything out later. Now, I'm interested. This worked, right? It's putting it in the right spot. In my Initializer++, I'm like, hey, if it's there, it'll fail. So there's some gotchas, right? But we're exploring. I still think this is a better way, but I'm wondering, is this the right thing? And so I'm going to rename this to extensions, because remember there's another one. And I think that this action is a part of this command. And I think that I can generate, can I do another action in the same file? So let's make sure that this works. I'm going to remove this one. So I'm going to rm and the jgitver. I'm going to remove those. And I want to see if my Spring extensions add gives me a extensions.xml. It says skipping generation, file exists. Wait, it did? So I have that. Oh, it was down here. So that's why it's supposed to be this. RM. We don't want that one. And we don't have one up here. Let's try that again. So I like, that question of, hey, what if it already exists? What's that? It already handled that, right? The file exists. So, and it says, and overwrite option not specified. Okay, so there's an override option available in that command. And I think for this case, for what I do, I think I want it to overwrite on this one. Like, hey, give me the new version of it. Again, if you're writing my write, I think that's what I want to do. So we'll come back to that in a sec. Let's run this. So cool, I have a .mvn extensions, and that looks legit. I am pretty happy about this. Whew. This might be a whole lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Would love to see PKL used more. PKL lang. I'm going to go take a peek at PKL. PKL lang. Configuration that is programmable, scalable, and safe. Interesting. Okay. I feel like I've heard about this, but I don't think I've seen it in use a lot yet. I'm going to bookmark that. But thanks for the reminder. There is a Spring Boot PKL integration. I have to try that. Where is that at? Oh, it's in there. Right on. We might have to try that. So completion, this worked. I feel like it worked. The other thing I need to do is the jgitver. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying like, Deshaun, why are you using jgitver? Because like it's old and busted and it hasn't been working, but it works for me. Yes, it's an old version, and yes, I should go and fix it, and yes, I should maybe fork it and upgrade it, but right now it works. And I'm going to continue to use it. That's the path to my production at the moment. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rm this .mvn extensions. I'm going to do this, initializer plus. Oops. I'm going to say initializer plus extensions. So that I get those files. I'm going to get diff cat mvn jgitver. So here's this. I also want a cat. This one. So the formatting was a little bit different, but I think it's going to work for what I got. But let's just grab this. So this is the other file that I was adding. And let's go do that. I think that I assume, and I could be wrong, but it feels like in this command, add these extensions, I think I can do more than one, right? I think that dash, because it's YAML, I think that dash tells me I can add another. I can do another thing. 2 dot slash. Maybe I can just do dot mvn slash jgit config. Text should look like this. Oops. Paste. This is great. So here's my config. These are my defaults. This is how I roll. I've got some doc in there. Let's see what we get. So let's rm the extensions and the jgit, and it is a thunderstorm outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that. So now we got rid of those, and now we're going to try to do our Spring Boot extensions add. This is great. Spring extensions add. I want to get 2 files. I got 2 files. Oh, let me go fix this one just to make it more better. What happened? I only got 1 of them. Did I do something funny? Did I really? No, I only got 1. Why did I only get this one? Why did I only get this one? Maybe I need the dot slash. So let's try that again. .mvn extensions, and let's try this again. Okay, it says that it's added them, but I only got 1. Okay. Why? All right. This is good to know. Doesn't that feel like it should work? Oh, it says line 4 should be text. Oh, look at that. Thank you so much. See, look at this. Just a typo. Let's try that again. Teamwork makes the dream work. This is so much fun. It's always more fun for me, and like getting to hang out with you. It's always more fun when we're doing this together and when I have that extra set of eyeballs. This is the reason I feel like pair programming, mob programming is so much more fun and more valuable. Oh, it's there. So let's try this again. Spring extensions add. I expect to get 2 files this time because of a typo. And there it is. Thank you so much. This is why I dislike YAML. XML would have marked that as an error. This is true. This is true. We are in good shape. I got my 2 files. These look good. You know, at first glance, these look good. And to be honest, to ride my path to production, this is like the biggest part. This is the biggest part of what I would want in my CLI. This is the most valuable part of what I do. So let's go on. I feel like we got one knocked out. This has been great. I think I have time for one more. And then let me go double check my calendar. But I think, I might not have time for one more. But you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this out. This has been good, or it's been good for me at least. Thank you so much for your help. This has been fun. I'm convinced already, right? I love the value and the power of Spring Shell. Now I see a really cool way that I can make the Spring CLI even better, have all the benefits of Spring Shell, but now I can add this on. This is what I'm going to hand off. And because I'm done with one, I can go get feedback. So let's do this. I'm going to take these commands. I'm going to cp-r.spring to, where did I put it? It was in function command catalog, I think. I mean, if not, what could possibly go wrong? But I'm going to take this and I'm going to go ahead and push it. I'm going to push this out so that, yeah, you can take it for a spin, and I'll keep on working on it. So here's our command catalog. We've got some stuff. Oh, it didn't work. I want to get those. Actually, I'm going to move it. So yeah, I'll leave this here. I'm going to get it pushed up. I'm going to get ready for this next meeting. This has been fun. I hope to do it again soon. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, if you've got things you're trying out, try new stuff, yeah, give us a buzz. I'd love to hear your feedback. Thanks for help. Thanks for reading the docs and all of the code help. This has been fun. I hope to see you again soon. Take care.